Okay, this is a walkthrough of the light kits that I built for my Center Mango. I got this bike back in the summer and I love it. It's one of the best bikes I've ever had. But unfortunately I work for a living, so I have to do a lot of riding at night. And so for that I've been working on different ways to be visible. Of course there's all sorts of reflective tape and stuff like that. But I thought it would be kind of cool to put some LEDs around the shell of the bike. And I started out with some cheap RGB LEDs that you could use for decoration, and that was neat. But then I recently upgraded to something else. What I have here is something called WS2811 LED, serial addressable LEDs. Each one of these is a little RGB LED by itself. You can see that on the little tape that's there. And they run on a serial bus, which is addressable, so that you can talk to each LED individually. You can do some pretty clever things with this if you have a little microcontroller. First thing you can do is give it you can have sort of little patterns. So here's one of my patterns. A little yellow in the front and red in the back. And of course, I did this with a little remote control, so I can cycle through the pattern by, holding down the buttons. So there we go. There's a green. And then since this is kind of the Christmas season, I built a Christmas pattern as well. So there you go. And normally I don't ride with that. Normally I have something a little bit more subdued. This is just basically for the Christmas parade. So subdued, what we have is some little flares. Now the flare pattern's kind of interesting. Not only can I cycle through the various colors on it with a little keychain remote. Oh, and by the way, I've got another one of these up on the steering tiller so that I can cycle them when I ride. But there's the different colors that cycle through. These are tied into the GPS on the Arduino so that the faster the bike goes, the faster the flares run down the sides. And for this demo, I've got it running about half speed. So it'll go about twice as fast and about twice as slow. I just thought this was better for the video. The neat thing about this is that all of these can be changed, and of course I've built a little fire pattern in here too. Let me turn that off and bring back my normal riding flares. The coolest thing about all this is I spent the time to go map out the Mango's wiring, and through a series of LEDs and phototransistors, I have an isolated control system that also talks to the microcontroller. So that if I reach down in here and grab hold of the steering tiller and I issue a stop by hitting the brakes, we get a full stop, which is basically all red LEDs all the way around the bike. And I let go of the stop, and the patterns emerge. Same thing works on the horn and works on the brakes. So here's a right turn on the brakes. I get a full flash on the right hand side of the bike, and the solid along the edge on the left-hand side of the bike. Turn the flasher off, and the patterns return. Same thing works in the other side. If I push the left turn, I get left turn flashies, and the right stays solid. And then we turn it off, and the patterns will return. And it'll run like that until we do something else or shut it down. It is tied into the Mango's electrical, so if I shut the Mango off, the patterns all shut off and everything goes into power conservative mode. I'm getting about, with the little flare pattern, I get about 12 hours out of a big battery pack. And of course some of the other patterns, like the fire pattern here, they take a lot more energy. This pulls about 2 amps at 5 volts on each side, so you're looking, with the fire pattern running right here, you're looking at roughly 3.5 amps of full power, which out of my big battery pack, that gives me about 2 hours of this, which is not much, especially the way I ride. So much better to use a flare pattern like this, which this one will run all day on that battery pack without any trouble at all. Well, that's about all I can show you right now, other than to wish you good. And yes, I'll put the build plans and the source code out on the net for this, so everybody else can do the same thing and enjoy it too. Other than that, have a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and all that other good stuff. Take care.